All right. Thank you so much, guys, for joining our today's session. And good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's session that is on customer success in the age of AI and the future is now. I am Tanul Sharma, your host for today's live webinar, and I want to thank each one of you being here today. We are joined by an amazing community of professional aspiring. One second. Read AI meeting notes. Okay. Sorry. I want to thank you, each one of you over here today. We are joined here by an amazing community of professional, aspiring CS leaders, job seekers, and of course, AI curious minds. And Tanul, I have spent more than a decade in CS building GTM teams, and I'm helping professionals like you, like me, like others in everything in like career coaching, mindset healing. So today's session is all about CS is evolving in the AI era and how we as a professional can evolve with it. So today we have an incredible, we are completely lucky to have a speaker like Mihir here, who is a director in customer success in CleverTap, who brings over a decade, even more than a decade of experience in CS leadership, product strategy, customer experience transformation. He has worked with the intersection of data, AI, customer experience. So over to you, Mihir. Introduce yourself, and then maybe we'll go to our CS stories.
Absolutely. First of all, just calling out, my voice is loud and clear. Visuals are good. Yeah, good.
Perfect.
Great, great. So thank you, first of all, Tanul, for giving me this opportunity to give back to the CS community. Um, a very, very warm welcome and a very good evening to all the participants. I hope, or rather, we hope to make your 45 minutes worth it and add value to your lives as well. A brief introduction about myself. As Tanul introduced, name is Mihir Nadkarni. Around a decade of experience. Have seen customer success evolve from a reactive support kind of oriented role to an outcome-based sort of discussion, right? Actively. So, for those who don't know CleverTap, let me just kind of give you a brief where I work. So CleverTap is popularly known as a retention software as a service platform. Essentially, in any life cycle of an app, right, or a website, there are certain users who come in, there are certain users who sign up, and then there are certain KPI events that are required to be achieved, right? For example, for a gaming, it could be people joining repeat contests, right? For a banking app, it could be people doing repeat transactions, right? So essentially, the ability to make the people who come into the app or website stick around, right? You must have also, some of you might have also read the popular adage that, a single dollar of retention, right? A single dollar of retention is worth around $0.2 of acquisition. So if you make a person, stay in your app or on your website, make them interested, right? Make them engaged, it earns you $5 as which is, five times more than what you would earn, especially while acquiring the customer, right? Now, just a brief on the evolution of CS that I've seen, right? So I formally, so in multiple shapes and forms, I've had exposure to, digital companies, digital consumer healthcare companies, and so on and so forth. CleverTap, however, was one of the first that I came into contact with active customers in multiple fields. So subscription based apps, gaming apps, fintech apps, you name it, and we've seen the growth from a very very small entity to a very very large entity. In 2019, when the customer success as a function started gaining ground, right? It was still a lot of customer support, wherein certain reactive queries were supposed to be answered to. The nature of the relationship was more transactional, and so on and so forth. Having said that, during then we came into the COVID times, wherein a lot of support or success was virtual, right? Post that, however, you would have seen that a lot of outcome-based engagement started happening. AI started gaining ground in early 2024, 2025, right? A lot of engagement started becoming more outcome-based. right? Those of you who are in customer success, you would also have learnt of this term called executive business reviews. You would have learnt of this term called customer success plans, essentially. So those then came into more force. As of today, we are seeing the economy being very, very selective about jobs, right? There are very, very select jobs. Companies are optimizing, realizing that AI can replace most of the mundane, repetitive tasks and going in for people who can add value, who can build relationships, and so on and so forth, right? So, some key takeaways, right, from my story. Uh, so one of the first things is when did this switch that kind of and I seem to have internalized this as well when I saw the transition between customer support to customer success, right? It is not just one moment, it is a fusion of those times which occurred, the COVID times, the AI related focus, the outcome related focus, which kind of hit all of us through multiple experiential moments and kind of changed our trajectory of how we look at our clients, right? Broadly speaking, however, if I were to give you a couple of takeaways, right, for those especially who are hunting for customer success roles or those who are hunting for similar customer experience kind of jobs, right? There is a simple framework which, personally I as a leader have followed, right? In be it in terms of executive reviews, be it in terms of success plans. Now I call it the BUG framework, right? Now, what is the BUG framework? Earlier, I mentioned that there are certain buckets under which a particular user's life cycle, when I say user, the end user of an app, end user of a website falls under, right? Now, these could be an onboarding life cycle. This could be a conversion life cycle for the first time, a repeat for the first, repeat again, a repeat user essentially. Like, you look at any kind of, whether it be a subscription app, whether it be a gaming app, whether it be something like a fintech app, you'd find these buckets very, very common. Onboarding, first time conversion, retention, reactivation, right? So around four broad life cycles. This is what we call buckets. Under a bucket, you have a use case, right? So, for example, again, going back to gaming, right? Or going back to e-commerce, for example, right? A repeat transaction use case could be a user coming back to repeat purchase something, right? Right? Say they have purchased some cosmetics on a beauty app, right? They might want to purchase some other beauty affiliated items, right? That is your repeat customer. A lot of reactivation use cases as well as such exist, right? So within each, you will have something called a goal, right? For an onboarding, the goal is to get maximum signups. For a repeat transaction, it is to get that repeat user conversions, right? That user interactions, right? For a customer success manager, right? Or for a customer success sort of ecosystem, it is a very, very important thing to kind of go into the depth of each of those. So it could be an app, it could be an offline data that might be passed, it could be a website which could be storing all the information. As a customer success manager, there are three things which become important here. Part A, your product knowledge and the ability to apply it to customer outcomes basis this framework that that I mentioned. Second is your responsiveness in terms of your quality, right, as well as timeliness, etc. And the third is an understanding of the relationships across the board, right? So in CleverTap, thankfully, have had an opportunity to also deal with what we call the executive sponsors, the sort of the influencers and the people who run the campaigns on the ground. Each of them have very different motivations. Job of a customer success manager and by definition a leader is to kind of understand where they come from and what ticks with them essentially, right? Because that's going to get you your renewals, that's going to get everything, right? By definition, this then extends to the kind of uh, hiring today customer success leaders are looking for, right? For example, if I were to interview two candidates, right? And one candidate comes up with, hey, I have this is my intro, this is where I've worked, these are the reasons I've moved, etc., etc. This is why, say, CleverTap is a very, very good company for me, is what I feel, versus another candidate who comes back to me with, hey, everything else is the same. However, what he or she has done is he or she, and this is a real story, right? They've done some analysis of a particular client that CleverTap today caters to, a particular app, understood the use cases within which the CleverTap ecosystem operates, and they have their own recommendations and suggestions, right? This kind of tells me that, hey, that candidate is much more than someone looking for a job. They're looking to build, they already have the responsiveness in a lot of in moments of truth ways. uh, they also have the ability to strike good relationships, and they have an ability to investigate and an eye for detail. This third piece is something which, as a customer success leader, is very, very attractive and non-negotiable. I mean, in a lot of cases in today's market, if you want to stand out, this is how you do it, essentially, from a customer success leader's perspective, right? Because there will be candidates with good resumes, with good exposure and experience. But hey, skin in the game is something which can be demonstrated. And literally, for these candidates, I don't have to drive the interview; they drive the interview for themselves, right? And it's a big thing in today's market to kind of differentiate yourself in any little parameter, right? Now, where does the AI come in this story? So I've talked about what I look for as a customer success leader, uh, what the frameworks essentially that I would like some of you to take, all of you to take back as a takeaway rather, right? Now, the third thing is AI usage, right? Now, again, referencing back to my earlier comment, AI is essentially an enabler. AI, look at it from this perspective, right? So there is responsiveness that I mentioned, there is relationships, and then there is product knowledge and the ability to apply it to customer outcomes, right? Responsiveness, relationships. Sure, AI can respond quicker, but can it, uh, given that the customer might have come with a certain bent of investigative questions or issues, does it have the ability to think beyond the box? Does it have the ability to do lateral thinking around a particular problem? Don't think so right at this stage. Maybe in the future stages with AGI coming and everything, it should be inherent. But for now, no. The third part, right? And relationships, definitely. I mean, that is human. I mean, no brainer there, right? Your executive buyer will definitely prefer to talk to you and develop a working relationship with you as a trusted partner rather than an AI, right? The third thing which becomes important is ability to sort of solve your mundane tasks, solve your repetitive tasks using AI. Now, let me give you an example, right? In a maybe attribution related world or a retention related world, customer outcomes become very, very important. So the kind of campaigns that you run, right? So in CleverTap, we also the platform essentially provides a canvas to run multiple channel related campaigns like email, SMS, push, in-app, and so on and so forth. But hey, what made a particular campaign perform well? What did not click with your end customer and sort of, and when I say end customer, again, the end user of that particular client or client app essentially. What did not click, right? Now you have certain data points. Uh, Normally, you would do an analysis in Excel, some correlation, causation, regression analysis. AI or prompt-based tools, obviously pertaining within the limits of the InfoSec policies that you might have, do that job much better. You can fire prompts and you can get them to find out those causations. It will reduce the time and effort in a lot of sense, right? What it cannot do though is it will give you 15 recommendations, but you as a CSM know what uh, the minute details of a particular, say, campaign that a user is running, the context, right? The ecosystem. That is something that you as a customer success, stakeholder have to think about and then apply it in a review context or in a success context, right? That is something which is going to give you good results, right? My message here would be use AI as an enabler. Do not, and yeah, sorry, one very important thing. Some tools like Chat GPT obviously give you a very good summary of, say, you are writing a mail to a to a stakeholder who has escalated, or to a stakeholder who has is very angry, right? So the tonality or emotional resonance of a particular message, that is something that your AI can also do very well. Of course, you don't have to blindly copy paste it. You understand your stakeholder the best, but it can frame those typical words or typical sentence tonality in such a way that your stakeholder can calm down. That hey, a little bit of a pause in the way maybe they are very angry, and this gives them time for a pause and reflection. That hey. Uh, he is in my corner or she is in my corner and they are solving the problem for me. So these little bits and pieces, nuggets of AI is something that you can use. Not a big fan of AI replacing relationships. I don't think that will ever happen in CS. Also, not a big fan of AI driving those success metrics. It's you who has the context. You just need to use AI as an enabler. Right. So I think broadly speaking, if my 15, 20 minutes, I think are done. So if I were to kind of summarize, I hope I'm on time, Tanul.
Yeah.
Um,
Perfectly, Mihir. I just have one question because we have a lot of CS folks here, and there are a lot of people
right,
also here in our attendees who are actually shifting and transitioning from different domain to CS. So I have one
right.
quick question with you. Like, let's talk about people who are actually trying to switch to CS. What because they're also feeling lost in the AI thing. So
Makes sense.
effectively they should have inside them so that they can shift to CS. Maybe they can shift from product to CS, or they can shift from customer support to success. What basic requirement we should have as a person or as a candidate to have so that we can shift from customer, any domain from customer to customer success.
Got it, got it. Incidentally, you won't believe this, but uh, in 2019 when I joined CleverTap, I think there is a person I know from microbiology background who is now in our product team, right? And very, very different background. Of course, that those constraints have grown much stricter recently, obviously because of the multiple selective hirings that are being done. But coming back to your question, right? See, there are two things, right? I would highly recommend. One from an AI context, one from an investigative context. Again, I would hark back to my earlier point, wherein if I am interviewing as a leader for two candidates, I would look at whether they are from that background to some extent or they are not. But even if they are not, if that convincing ability of that candidate is there, that hey, this is one of the clients of the company which I'm applying for. These are some of the use cases that I feel that your company would be solving for them. This is my thought process on the success metrics, and this is how, if I were at CleverTap as a customer success manager, I would look to solve it. I'm not looking for the perfect answer as a leader. I'm looking for a person to have skin in the game and understand the domain that we operate in. See, as a leader, you the candidate has to understand one thing, or maybe in a general context for this audience, that tomorrow, as a leader, I'm looking at putting the concerned person in front of a customer, right? And if those qualities do not stand out during the interview, it is going to be very difficult for me as a leader to justify a case above. And at the same time, those escalations are something which don't stop coming in that case. So very, very important for the candidate, I think, to be investigative and have skin in the game in nature. Second, I would say a certain comfort in this time and age, although I'm not like as a leader, I'm not very hell-bent on it. But hey, any problem, certain comfort with tool, and it's very easy, right? Some of these tools have good subscriptions. You have Replit, you have a Cursor, you have Lovable as a tool. Very, very good tools. Maybe you are using it for personal purposes, say expense tracking at your end. Maybe you've used it in your earlier stints for coming together and sort of solving a problem using AI. I want to know that there is a certain value add that you will do when I take you in the team as well, over and above the skill sets that are already there in the customer success team. So AI is, I wouldn't say it's non-negotiable, but it is a good to have, because I think in the next 1 year, 1.5 years, AI is going to replace most of the repetitive tasks, and a certain comfort would help. If not in a professional, sure. You can also explain in a personal context. So I think these two is something that I would look for, be it from any domain, because these two things tell me that you have skin in the game and you're ready to have that learnability quotient. Tanul, I think you are on mute. I'm not able to hear you.
So sorry, so sorry. So I have another question here from having experience with implementation associates, especially in Excel experience, don't have technical experience. Now looking to learn
Okay.
something new, which helps me
Okay.
to grow. Suggested, can be roadmap with some. Can you suggest some roadmaps so that this guy can be helped on?
So this
Such
is
insights, yeah.
understood. See, from a customer success standpoint, it is business outcomes that are discussed. From an implementation standpoint, it is essentially the integration of that particular tool into the client's ecosystem, right? So both are very different things and require very different skill sets, right? Now, is the question based on the implementation associate wanting to get into customer success,
Yeah, yeah,
or are
yeah.
they open for roles in implementation related domain
No, no,
as
no.
well?
This guy is implementation associate.
Got it. Got it. So see, from an implementation associate perspective, again, the lens that a customer success leader would look at is, hey, that person sure is good with the tech. They know how to fire basic APIs. They know how to, make sense of a code break, for example, right? But having said that, can they think of business? Are there situations in their particular job profile earlier where they have kind of gone into the business outcomes? And this you can do in your existing job as well, right? I mean, if there is a particular hierarchy which has an implementation and a customer success separated out, you can talk to the customer success executive at your end, understand that what are they looking for in terms of business outcomes, contribute in a meaningful way in your present job or setting, and then make a case for yourself. Because unless you think of business outcomes, talk of business outcomes, and kind of walk that path, or have had an experience in which you have walked that path, it's going to be very difficult for a customer leader to be convinced that, hey, because see, tomorrow at the end of the day, you're going to be sitting in front of CROs or chief revenue officers or VPs of retention or VPs of growth or marketing. Implementation exposure might be very even some of them might not even understand tech to a lot extent, right? They will understand business outcomes. So if you can prepare a case there and get an entry point, I would suggest that you do. Talk, leverage your ecosystem first, and then look at then hunting for jobs. That's this.
All right.
I
I
hope that
think,
answers.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Any particular hard skills which CSM should have relevant requirement for the growth?
I think, see, uh, as I mentioned about the AI nativity, it's a good to have, right? Any business problem that you've solved could be anything, right? Personal, professional, using AI. I have already mentioned some of the tools that you have. It's a simple $20 subscription per month. You can literally explore the till your credits run out and sort of make a case for yourself. I know some of the people who have also kind of posted it on GitHub as well and prepared their own technical portfolio, right? That I believe is important. Second, some basic skills in, say, Postman, if you have heard of Postman APIs, right? Firing an API, how it looks, right, on a particular screen, right? What are the multiple CS related use cases? Again, I have kind of gone into that particular piece as well. That can be solved. That helps you tell me that you have skin in the game. So yeah, I mean, more business, I would say less tech, but some tech in terms of AI nativity and sort of basic API understanding should be good, I would say.
Okay, there's
Hope
one
that
more question.
answers.
I'm so sorry, Mihi. There's one more question. What all extra effort I have to make, given though I do not come from technical background, getting the calls for the interview, and it's not easy because of the gap. So, what
I
one
understand.
person should do without having technical knowledge but getting into CSM?
I would say one of the best ways, and this is slightly a left field idea because um, considerably the person who's asking the question is at a reasonable disadvantage as well, and I accept it as a leader as well. That is something that I would kind of not first shortlist that person very honestly, right? In that case, what I would look for is a sort of portfolio that you might have, which again shows me that you have skin in the game. Say a particular native app, which is very similar to a particular problem statement that CS leaders today face that you have built on using Replit or Cursor, and you have a portfolio to showcase that, right? So this do not take these portfolios very lightly, because today you will be surprised to know that traditional search is being replaced by ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, Anthropic, right? So build your portfolio in a lateral sense away from a professional environment, that is fine. But look at that particular company you're applying for. In chat gpt you can easily get, using intelligent prompts, the kind of problems faced. Create your portfolio, right, very similar to, and show the leaders that, hey, you are interested not just in a superficial context, but hey, you are ready to showcase that I'm ready to learn and build from scratch. I've done this, and given an opportunity, I can go a step further, right? It's finally your convincing ability that counts, and your visual demonstration using those portfolios that can help you stand out, is what I would say.
All right, to all the CV questions, I would just request that I will answer your CV questions. I think Mihir is more towards, practical knowledge and as well as theoretical knowledge. But talking about the resume thing, that I'm going to help you out. Okay, so another question says is how exactly customer success be the top notch in edtech, where some coaches hire CSMs. They look at
Okay,
upsells and also need to make sure retention rate, how exactly we can be at the best. There are also
right,
looking for us to sell, be the salesperson too. So I think the
got it,
question is they are in edtech and they want CSM to also, sell, do upselling, cross selling,
got
but
it,
again they also look out for a person to do sales.
got it. So in that case, folks, see, what happens is, whenever you are into customer success, right? I strongly believe that you should look for upsell only where there is a genuine case for an upsell. Uh, the advantage of you being in CS is that you have product platform knowledge as well. And you have the knowledge then of the add-ons, or maybe I don't know in which kind of sector you work in, but there are certain add-ons in addition to the basic platforms that could be sold. Or in case of EdTech, I suppose it could be a license-based seats as well, right? So here there are two, three things that count. One is your knowledge of your customer and what are they looking for specifically. For example, in an edtech space, if their retention rates are dropping, that hey, the customers who the prospects who sign up are not the ones buying courses. There's a very low ratio there. So at what points in the particular website or app or whatever collateral, whatever digital platforms they use, can you suggest them to some improvements there and then? Second, do those improvements tally with certain upsell related add-ons that you have? Right? So those in this day and age, I would um, mention this, that be an advocate for the customer. Do not look to upsell where there is no scope for upsell, because what happens is it comes down later on in the next 6 months as a downsell or a churn. And the customer also, you kind of also lose the customer's trust. So balance out both. But yes, in this unique role, you will have a visibility on both. So use your product for good, and have very targeted uh, upsells. Uh, I would say rather under promise and over deliver in this age, if you can. That when I say under promise, do not blindly sell, right? Look at opportunity and then sell,
All right, I think we are almost there for the questions, but we
right?
can see there are a lot of questions. I think I can get back to you guys on an email or on the group. I can answer each and every question because we have a limit for the particular session. And thank you so much, Mihi, for telling us about AI, customer success. And of course, people would have understood about like how the industry is going and how AI will actually interfere in our customer success or not. But let's before wrapping up, I have something fun and engaging for all of us to do. And it's time for customer success quiz. So this time it will be more of, quick CS plus AI themed, wherein the best part is 10 lucky winners will get something amazing within 24 hours on their email addresses. So before we start, I would request each one of you do not unmute yourself. You just have to write it down in the chat window your correct answer, and we'll find out who was the first one who gave the correct answer will be given a lucky prize, lucky winner. All right. So before I share my screen, I would say again, Mihir, thank you so much for giving us time. And we'll start with the quiz. Let me just. Is my screen visible? All right. Okay. So this is the icebreaker CS quiz. You guys can write it down in the chat window. Question number 1. Which of the following is not a common customer success metric? NPS, CSAT, CSE, or churn rate? Amazing. We have many questions, answers coming up to this question. Amazing, amazing. All right. The correct answer is CAC. That's customer acquisition cost. That comes as a sales metric. It's not a CS metric. Question number 2 comes, what is the primary goal of customer success manager? Number 1, answering customer tickets, selling products, ensuring customer gets value and achieve desired outcomes. Number 4, onboarding new hires. I see. Okay, okay. All right. Just to make sure you guys are giving us the correct answer, we are noting your correct answer, who gave the first one, and we'll give you the prizes. Okay, so the correct answer is ensuring customers get value and achieve desired outcomes. Answer is answer C. Now coming to question 3, which of the following is not a common AI use case in customer success? A, predicting churn. B, automating ticket resolution. C, building product roadmap. And D, recommending upsell opportunities. The answer is, yes, you guys can just write it down. Amazing. I think we have amazing CS folks here who have, okay. So the answer is answer C, building product roadmap. Now question number 4 says, what does predictive customer health scoring typically rely on? A, support team intuition. B, product usage and behavioral data. C, manual NPS entries. D, quarterly revenue only. Oh man. All right, all right. You guys can answer. Okay. Answer is B, product usage and behavioral data. Now question 5 says, which tool uses AI to help CS teams automate workflows and generate insight? Answer A, Canva. B, Gainsight, Trello, or Grammarly. All right, I think we can see correct answers. The answer is Gainsight. Answer B. Now coming to our question 6, customer is showing healthy usage but suddenly gives low NPS, which is AI driven action. Which AI driven action is the most helpful? A, auto send a discount code, use sentiment analysis to explore their feedback patterns, assume it's a one-off case, or archive their profile. The answer is B, use sentiment analysis to explore their feedback patterns. Perfect. Okay. Question number 7. You want to improve onboarding time for new customers. Which AI strategy works best? A, use AI chatbots 24/7 onboarding support. Send an FAQ PDF. Call every customer manually. Wait for the customer to raise query. The answer is, all right. The correct answer is A, use AI chatbot for 24/7 onboarding support. Now, this is the second part to our quiz, which is topical and maybe, thought-provoking section, which is more of AI related. Now, question 1 says, which of these can AI not easily replicate in CSM's job today? A, automating onboarding emails. B, analyzing product usage patterns. C, empathetic conversations during escalations. D, predicting churn risk. Perfect. All right. So the answer is C, empathetic conversations during escalations. Second question is, which AI-driven tool is commonly used by CS teams to monitor customer health? Slack, Gainsight, Canva, or Notion? Perfect. I think we have so many CS folks here. Okay, yeah, the correct answer is B Gainsight. Okay, now this is the third part. Moreover, we'll understand about the numbers behind the success. Now, number one, question one. If your customer is actively using your product but NPS is dropping, what's the first thing you should do? Offer a discount, ask for a renewal, dig into qualitative feedback and have a call. They ignore if the usage is high. We can see some answers. Yeah. Okay, so the answer is C. Dig into qualitative feedback and have a call. Now, second question is what is QBR in customer success? I think people will easily answer this. Quarterly budget review, quality benchmark report, quarterly business review, or question based recap. Perfect. The answer is quarterly business review. Now, this is the quick fire. Basically, this section is you have to tell whether it's a fact or a myth. Customer success is just a fancy word of customer support. It's a myth or it's a fact. It's a myth. High product adoption always means high customer satisfaction. It's a myth or a fact. It's a myth. Customer success can directly drive revenue growth. It's a fact or myth. Yeah, it's a fact. Correct. Now, this is the last part of our CS quiz, which is more of I would say, a scenario based question. You guys can write it down to my email address, and the best person will get the best special prize. Okay, so this is like, let's apply our customer success knowledge into real world scenario. The question is basically to test your strategic thinking and how problem solving skills, like how you have developed your problem solving skills into your career. Now, the scenario is a customer has stopped attending calls and is not opening emails, but their renewal is in 3 weeks. So, what would you do in this situation? Think about the most effective approach to re engage this customer and secure their renewal. The matter of fact is, guys, you get this question in your lot of interview rounds. So, make sure whatever answer you have, make sure it's as you're giving your interview. Because this is the scenario that you will get in different organizations. So I'll wait for your email, guys, and we'll be happy. 1 second. Let me come back here. Okay. All right, guys. So we'll wait for your answer over the email. We have already shortlisted our 9 lucky winners from the chat window. We'll give you the email within 24 hours with your lucky prizes. It's basically not a lucky prize, but it's more of which will empower your career. It will help you in your growth, in strategy building. So it's a very different prize. Of course, it's not monetary, but it's more of a intangible prize which will help you out to gain success in your future. And we'll wait for your email, guys. Make sure you can also take a screenshot of this particular question which I asked. I can also write it down this scenario over there in the chat window. Yeah, it's more of like an intellectual prize. Absolutely, Ankit. So, all right, guys, and thank you so much, Nikhil. Thank you so much, Mihir. And I'm so sorry, guys. Alan and Sebastian was not available today because Alan had an emergency traveling, and Sebastian is a new father now. So, thank you so much for joining, guys. And I'm so grateful to you, Mihir, to join this session. And thank you so much, guys. We meet again in the next session. Thank you so much. Have a good day, guys, and have a happy weekend. And may my prize that I'll send it to you over email makes your weekend more. Thank you, guys. Have a good day. Good night.